everyone, and I'm thrilled to welcome you to this live and meet our amazing drink positive chefs, Madhavi and Sana. But before we
Hi.
get into the conversation, I would want to let you know a bit about Drink Positive. Drink Positive is a pan India campaign conceived by Jeeva Bhavana, an environmental NGO based in Pune. Our aim is to inform you, the Indian public, about the multiple benefits of choosing plant based and non dairy products over dairy. Whether it's for the environment, climate change, personal health, animal welfare, farmers, etc., we'll always come out ahead when we choose the plant based version. Since our launch at the end of December, we've published a dozen of videos on this channel aimed at diverse public. We thought it would be great idea for you to meet some of our chefs and have the opportunity to ask as many questions as you want. So don't hesitate to put your questions in the comments or in the chat box and we'll be happy to converse with you. So, Madhavi and Sana, are you ready?
Yes,
Yes,
of
we are
course.
ready.
So the first question I'd like to ask Madhavi is why did you choose to quit dairy?
Yeah, very interesting question. I think all of us have a story when we are asked this question, and I was absolutely not aware of what's happening in the dairy industry. I'm very grateful to my friend Julie, who educated me about the true practices in dairy business. And still, I was not, ready to accept that reality for India. Um, but it was so compelling what she told me. I took that step to explore in the dairies what's happening, and that's when I saw that these poor animals are exploited. I mean, to what levels? It was just a nightmare to see their condition in the uh, dairy farm in the city or in the village. So only then did I start really looking at them as sentient beings, as individuals, and I could see in their eyes the pain and suffering and how we really overlooked that and took these animals as milk making machines. So that's where I made the contact. Yeah.
I'm glad and I relate to your journey as well. Uh,
Yeah.
it was beautiful. Sana, do you have anything to add? How did you start your plant based journey?
I think my story is quite similar to Madhvi. Even I got introduced to uh, not like exactly it, but I got into going vegetarian first. It was introduced to my friend. She helped me to make that connection with animals. Before growing up, I was never bothered to think about it. I never had that kind of exposure. But then my friend helped me, and then slowly, when I was actually on my path to be vegetarian, I also got to know about the cruelty in dairy industry, and then it was, of course, very like heartbreaking. And I, of course, my when I want to live life, I of course would love to reduce suffering as much as possible, and I would not like to cause any kind of suffering. So it was very natural. I could just connect with them, and decided to quit dairy overnight because of that. I was so like I did not know that the action of drinking milk and this was causing so much cruelty like in animals. So yeah, that's how I decided to quit dairy.
Yeah. And you know
Raised a
something? I
very good.
used to
Yeah, please continue,
Sorry.
Madhavi.
So I had heard about veganism, and I used to think it was extremes. So I used to I remember talking to my friend, like, don't you think it's too much to be a vegan? And then when I became vegan, she was like, really? You turned vegan? Because I remember you saying this to me. So I was like, I wish everyone could see that uh, what is happening, the ground realities, and everyone would really realize how important it is to go vegan.
That is so important. And one good point which both of you really raised was we were never aware of it at first. I think it's because it's so much part of our living,
System.
like everyday living. It's like it's even in the education system, you'd see kindergarten books and there'll be like cows give us milk, hens give us eggs, and buffaloes give
Exactly.
us milk. So
And cow is our
it's so,
mother,
yeah, and
and
it's
we
like
take milk.
Rinaaz is frozen.
Yeah, she's back.
Yeah. Okay.
You are frozen,
so yeah,
Rinaaz.
I feel that, it was so ingrained, and it was only later in life that most of us actually get to really be aware of it and then go our ways.
Yeah. And you know something, even
Yeah,
the
Madhu.
word vegan, I mean, after I interacted with so many people, I realized, I mean, of course, I did get a backlash because it's just that people have not made that connect. There's nothing else. Just that connect is missing. And I realized it really doesn't, in the Indian context, we already, living the philosophy of ahimsa. Most of us, we are aware of it. I mean, it's been there with us since ancient times. So we have that lifestyle already. It's just that we have got this term because the vegan movement has grown so much. But we may as well call ourselves people living, following the values of ahimsa, and vegetarian in the true sense, like not ovo lacto vegetarian, but pure vegetarian.
That's true.
Yeah.
And Madhvi, how has the journey been for you so far? Any experiences, any benefits you would like to share?
Yeah, so the journey, of course, has been amazing. I think it's been very exciting. In the beginning, I was lost. I didn't know where to look for support because I had decided almost overnight that I'm going to give up. And so luckily, I did find a support group, in a small in one corner of Pune, which was led by Darshana Muzumdar. And there was some backlash also because I was too excited to be a vegan and to know about the cruelty, and was too excited to share it with everyone, but not everyone really got it. So that was a difficult phase, really. But then later on, when I started, focusing on my own transition and exploring for recipes, and I was a person who wouldn't cook really, and I started looking for recipes and trying out. I would never bake. I started baking. I started doing so much for my children. So it became a very exciting journey eventually, and very recreational also. And the changes I saw physically, mentally, they were just amazing. How my skin improved, my body fat, I lost it, and mental peace. I mean, it's hard to, for anyone to believe, but when you eat food which is not coming from exploitation, there's a different energy you get. So that's what I experienced. So this has been an amazing journey, really.
I agree with that. And
Yeah.
Sana, how was it for you?
Again, Madhvi, I can relate to you very strongly. And I was very excited. So I went vegan when I was in hostel. So like the food was vegetarian, so it was not that big of a challenge. But I did feel lost, that I had to restart. I started reading labels, and then I used to think we, like me and my best friend, we are the only vegans in Pune. That's what we used to think. I did not know about vegan community. I'm like, okay, I think we just there are just two of us in entire Pune. Then I got to know about the community. Then I got to know about the different ice cream places, vegan ice cream places. Oh shit, I did not know about this. And it got me really excited. I think that was the big turning point, like finding community. And then I'm like, okay, we are not alone in this journey. So it got even more exciting. Then I got to know about different recipes. Then we started experimenting. Then at hostel also we used to cook some things, uh, different recipes, and a lot of experimentation happened. I think that was the most exciting part again, like as Madhuri said. And then it felt very, I never found it restrictive, but if someone is going vegan, I mean, I always recommend that try different things instead of thinking that you are removing something like dairy products. Think about the addition that you are doing. You're trying these different alternatives. You're trying these different recipes. That gets people excited around me. So that helped a lot. And yeah, and even my mom is into vegan cooking like in depth now. She tries so many vegan dishes. So yeah, it's going good. It started feeling a little when feeling lost and feeling like we are alone in this journey. But now I see so many vegans around me, so many people that have quitted dairy. It's this movement is just growing stronger and bigger, and there's so much hope now.
Yeah. And then there's hardly anyone who will ever think of going back to their old, self, because it's such an empowering thing one can embrace. I mean, literally, we all, those who have, made this transition, we do know that this is the best decision ever made in life.
I think as
Very
it
true.
sounds very cheesy, but people like I will say that the only regret that I have after going vegan is that I didn't do it sooner. Like that's the only regret.
That's beautiful. I think me and Madhvi can both agree with that statement
Mm.
because it has brought
Yeah,
a lot of change to my life as well. And like Madhvi said, it can be so recreational at times. The whole plant-based world, diving into it, especially as
exactly.
chefs, I believe that there is a whole world out there
Yeah.
to experiment, to cook, to
Exactly.
eat, to serve. And we're talking about,
Very creative.
the thing the three of us have in common is that we went vegan overnight.
Yeah.
So, my next question would be, what was the biggest challenge for you?
For me, it was giving up
Madhvi, you can.
tea. Uh, yeah. The first thing I thought of was, what will I do about my tea? That was one thing. But then, there were so many discussions I had with Julie about the exploitation in the dairy that obviously it was not fair to add even those few drops to my tea. So I switched over to black tea. And then slowly the transition, it took me through the journey of eating tea healthy. So tea anyway is not good for health. So I went on to, more traditional drinks, like the herbal concoctions that we have in Maharashtra, with lemongrass and ginger and all that. So it has been a very fun thing, actually. I mean, of course, there were temptations, but every time I would think of the exploitation, I just wouldn't, want to go back. So it was difficult, especially giving my children the food they were used to. My sons used to keep popping cheese blocks, and I was very proud of it. Oh, good, they're eating cheese and they've filled their stomach. So, all these kind of things. But Julie has been, staying with me. So she quickly used to make me vegan, and
Sana?
and it was really amazing learning all that. So, yeah,
Um, so I think Madhvi, it's very inspiring. I did not know that you went vegan when you had kids, and that's really inspiring. I would like to talk to you about that again differently, but it's very
sure.
inspiring. Like, I can't imagine like how you made those changes. It's so cool. Um,
Yeah,
for me, the challenge, I think, yeah, again, it was same. I decided to quit dairy purely for animal cruelty reason. The moment I saw that, I just couldn't think about anything like calcium, protein, nothing. Like I did not think about anything else but like what I'm contributing to that time in that moment. So when I went, like I decided to quit it overnight. I did not think about any of these arguments. And the moment I quitted, I went to people and I'm like, okay, see, this is, you did not know about this. I think you should watch this, and you should also. I mean, you might also consider the same thing. I mean, I started speaking to people. I started doing activism. I did not know it is called activism or anything that moment. I just started talking to people, and then I realized, okay, this is called activism. And then I got a lot of backlash. I got like a lot of people started bringing these arguments, like where will you get your protein from, calcium from, this and that, and this is not true, this doesn't happen in India. And I had to find answers to all of these things, because then I did not question like my decision, but I had to answer those questions. So that was the difficult part, I would say. I started researching about it. I started talking to experienced people, and I started to see if there is any loophole. Like, is there anything that can uh, break my can tell me if I made the wrong decision. I tried to see from like 360-degree, and I would say that I did not find any solid like argument against it or anything. But yeah, like there might be any, like maybe there is more to it, but I don't know. But yeah, that was not difficult, but that was quite challenging. And um, that it had to helped me to change a lot of mindset. Like I had to shift a lot of mindsets, and accept a lot of things. So yeah, that so it was one of the very like different part of my journey, which I wasn't expecting, to be honest. Yeah.
Yeah, I can understand. When you were speaking about this, I just remembered my first introduction to, plant-based lifestyle, and there was an activist in front of me, and I asked her the very similar question that we all have: where will I get my protein from? And without missing a beat, the lady just looks at me very gently and says, "Where do you think cows get it from?" And I feel that moment truly opened my mind, and I was like, that is so true. Why don't we think about this? And yeah, but I feel like, you can't ever convince anyone into this part. It's like a part of them has to be seeking for that uh, thing or that opening in order to finally go towards that lifestyle.
I agree. This was one of the realization that I had. The one of the thing that I needed to accept in my journey, that it is about turning point. That's how I named it. Like, people will choose that path when they will have that turning point. They can't. I can't make them do it. They can't make themselves do it. It just happens. I feel like sometimes, like when it has to happen. That sounds so philosophical.
But it stands true as
Yeah.
much as even my experience goes. No matter how short it is, I've seen people. So I can agree. You cannot convince anyone who's not
Hmm.
ready to be convinced in the first place. Also, Madhvi, I really am
Yeah,
very
one,
curious how
yeah.
you got your family introduced to this lifestyle, and how did you get them around? Were they okay with it? Was there a lot of coaxing? How was it?
Yeah. Yeah, so I was so I mean, it was a traumatic experience as well for me to know the exploitation, and of course I got to know about the health aspect also, because I mean what I could make out is it's just that this is slow poison for us. So I had to disclose this to the family that, look, what we're doing is absolutely wrong, and let's start working on this. And I immediately started working on the substitutes as well. But I must say, I'm lucky to have family members. I'm really lucky to have family members who gave up the animal products, because I have my father in law who would have his breakfast would be chapati and milk every single day. And one fine day, I just declared and it was stopped, and he never asked for it. He probably, for some time, he was wondering, but he's a person of few words, so he didn't really, discuss it with me. But never did he ever have any, we had any scene or a tantrum where he said, "Look, I want my regular breakfast." He enjoyed what he was given in place of that. And he gave up non-veg. And, we have this yearly function in our village. It's called Urus, where, they sacrifice go goats for, that grand meal they have. And he never indulges in that, though he would eat a non-veg on such occasions. He will say, "I want my vegetable," and he will eat that. So that was a great win for me. My kids, I told them, "Look, this is poison. I can't give you in the house. Maybe if you're going to your friends or something, you can have." But it took a while to, work around this. But they were dealing with it, and they slowly started understanding. I showed them some documentaries, some films, and they got on board. And of course, my husband, he's a real sweetheart. He accepted what I shared with him, and he came on board. So as a family, we had a very beautiful transition. So again, I must say I was lucky, and yeah, and I got all the support as well.
I'm glad. And this is so heartwarming. I
Mm.
feel like this
Yeah,
can be a tale of I feel like this can be that one fairy tale that we all hope for to happen to us.
yeah. When I
So
talk to
sweet.
people, I get to understand, how much I should value this as, as a family transitioning, because it's not easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm really, really glad that it happened like to you, Madhavi.
And I forgot to mention my mother-in-law. Same with her. She never ever. It's not that she didn't question, but she was observing me, and she understood. And very proudly now she talks to her friends, and she says, she tells her friends, "Don't do this. It'll be good for your health. See, look at my health." So she's accepted it, and she understands the benefits.
Oh,
Yeah,
sweet.
yeah.
Yeah, it is truly sweet. I feel like I'm going to have a story to tell to each one of my friends now after
Very
this.
inspiring.
It
What
is,
about
and
your
it is
families?
of
How is
gentle
it?
transformation, understanding everything.
Mm.
Yeah, I'm curious to know about how it happened. How was the experience in your families?
Sana?
Sana?
Okay. I thought Rinaaz will go, but okay, I'll go first. So okay, so it's me and my mom in family. Then there is extended family, like my nana, nani, and they live with us, but like separately. So to my for mom, so I used to stay at hostel. So I used to send her links to documentaries and videos, and I told her one day that I have stopped consuming dairy, and I told her just one day, and then she was like, "Okay, maybe this is just one new thing she's trying. Let's see." So after a few days, I'm like, "Mom, why don't you do it too? Like, I'm telling you, this is extremely cruel." And she's like, "Okay, I'll try." And I kept asking her if you are having tea every day, and eventually, and she's like, "Yes, yes, I had today. I just couldn't." And then eventually, I'm like, "Okay, don't talk to me." I'm not recommending this to anyone. This is not a good approach. But I learned a lesson from this. So I just starting somewhere emotionally blackmailing her that, "Mom, please don't have it. How can you have it?" Then eventually one day I'm like, "Mom, if you're mother, then you might make connection with this thing that like cow is mother and that milk is for cow's child, not for us. how will you feel like if someone took the milk that you made for me, like that you have for me? So mom is like, yeah, you're right. So I kept telling these kind of stories, but it was really hard for her to understand. I That point I realized. So I just kept emotionally blackmailing. Like I stopped talking to her, and she eventually is like, okay, I'm stopping. I won't have it. And she went. Like she stopped consuming dairy, but at after some once we had fight, me and my mom, and she went, so she was also non-vegetarian. She went and she had chicken in anger. So that time I felt so bad. I said, mom, I never meant, I didn't want you to go vegan, or I didn't want you to quit all of these things for me. It's not for me, it's for animals. And I think you got the point wrong. If you want to make me angry, you're not, if she's eating those things to make me angry, then it's not for me. I just told her, explained her this thing. I said, if you're doing this for me, please don't do it. I'm not going to stop talking to you or anything. Please, just like if you want to do it, just then only do it. So I made that point clear. And she's like, okay, it happened by mistake, but I understand the cause. And then she never had it again. But yeah, don't emotionally blackmail anyone or don't force it because
I
it's
think
not
we
good.
all have had this experience, Sana. I think we've all learned from this. Being emotional, getting also like criticizing people, pointing fingers, all this we've been through. But yes, this is definitely not the way. And I think being
Yeah.
inclusive, trying to understand where they come from, showing them how it can, how they can contribute. Because all of us, I mean, none of us want to really cause harm to anyone, but really,
Yeah.
big lessons to be learned. I
Yeah.
think we can have a
And
whole session on what.
definitely what not to do, I realized that. And now
Yeah.
she's very actively speaking about it. She has her own YouTube channel. She makes recipes, and now she has like, she understood that what was the point exactly, exact point. What was the reason why she was supposed to do that? So now she,
Right.
I don't think so. There is anything of that sort. Now she's like, so now we are two, like we are small vegan family, and we are happy. Made
So
mistakes,
sweet.
learned.
Very nice.
I feel like
And what about
Sana
you,
learned the
Rinaaz?
hard way, so we all could learn from her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
ले लो
So
ज्ञान.
we will. So my the story with my family, sure, a less hopeful one because uh, everybody still consumes meat, and of course there have been conversations and there has been a lot of talks, but it hasn't led to anything fruitful yet. But I'm hopeful for the future. My dad did restrict his consumption a little bit, but yeah, we have a long way to go.
So it's only you in your
So
family.
Yeah, it's only me.
Okay. So you have to cook separately for yourself, and obviously, and then you're
Yeah,
doing it. So,
sometimes yes, sometimes no, because Indian
okay.
cuisine is like very
Vegetarian.
vegan friendly
Hmm.
actually,
Hmm.
and where
Hmm.
it is not, it is easily veganizable. So
Hmm. Hmm.
mhm.
got safe there.
Good. Good. So that support you're
That's
getting.
the best part of being vegan or quitting these things in India. Like there's not a lot of changes to be made. Very convenient that way.
Very true, very true. But yeah, like I shared in the last life, the fries horror story is real. I couldn't find something in restaurants for a long time, so French fries it is every order for a long time. But yeah, today I have found better options, healthier options, I must say. So, while we are on this
Good.
topic of cooking, I would like to ask you guys that a lot of people, when starting out as plant-based cooks, have this complain that it does not taste very similar to its non-dairy
Hmm,
counterpart.
hmm, hmm,
So, what tips, advices do you
hmm,
have
hmm.
for them?
See, honestly, what I would say, sorry, son, I'm going before you. Um, it's true that it doesn't taste exactly like, the animal-based products which you're used to for so many years, and it does take an effort to get used to the new taste. But the new taste is also good. Eventually, what we want, something which tastes good, right? So, and it tastes different.
Mm,
So, okay, we are realizing that, okay, this soy milk tastes different from dairy milk, or soy curd tastes different from dairy curd. But uh, first of all, what is your purpose of doing this? That's important. And secondly, it has its own
mm,
taste, it has its own flavor, and you get used to it. And it does taste good, uh, you know. So, yeah. So keep exploring. And I would say that when you're choosing your recipes or on YouTube, when you're looking for recipes, put the word vegan before any of those recipes. You'll automatically get the right options. So it's no big deal to find vegan recipes, honestly.
mm. I really like like the way you put it, that why you are doing it, and the taste. Of course, it will be different, but it doesn't mean that it won't be tasty.
Yeah.
And I also want to point this out, that people think vegan food is something really different. I mean, you have to go out of your way to be vegan or have that one vegan meal. They don't understand roti sabzi, aloo ki sabzi, chapati. Even banana is vegan. Like, they think it's something really different
You know
alien thing.
something
Yeah, so
You know
true.
something funny, when we go out with friends or we have a meal together or something, and if somebody specially ordered vegan for us, apparently, like a pizza or something which has vegan cheese on it, people will not eat it because it's vegan. It's different. So I'm like, it's food and it tastes good.
Oh God.
Yeah, there are few who explore, but there are quite a few who will say, oh, it's vegan, it's meant for you. Okay. So I'll pack it and
And
take
I,
it home.
and I also realized that they're really curious, and they're like, Sana, what do you eat? What do you eat then if you don't
Yeah.
eat meat, fish, and all of these things, and not even milk? So, like, how do you survive? And I'm like, bro, there are so many things they don't realize. There are so quite surprised. Like, how do you not know? Like, there are a lot of things that are by default vegan. You, like, so it was quite surprising for me too. Like, now that I have been vegan for 6 years. Now I'm not. So it's quite like, people get really surprised. You have not eaten these things, and how are you like alive? It's
I've
really
gotten
funny.
that.
Yeah. And also one thing that, after quitting like dairy, I think, and after 1 year I started forgetting the taste of dairy. I don't now that I have dairy free ice cream, dairy free these all desserts, I love this taste, and I don't miss that actually. I have, and our body is so good at adapting new things. It's like adapt So I read this somewhere. Our body is basically adapting machine. So our body really like tries to change things. So I got used to that taste. Now it tastes so amazing. I don't miss that dairy ice cream. I don't even remember how it used to taste. So yeah, you will get used to it. Like, that's how I will put it. And tips and
And
hacks.
something
Okay,
I just
so
mentioned,
sorry, Madhu, you'll
yeah.
continue. I'll add
Uh,
it later.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I just wanted to mention something that's very important actually. I mentioned the purpose, right? Like, why are we doing this? And probably many people still don't know, but beyond ethics and the health purpose, we also must be aware of the, the devastating impacts animal agriculture has on the environment. So, the food system, the way we grow our food or produce our food, it's really having the worst impact. It's considered the worst human activity that is really causing the climate crisis. So one of the most important effects is global warming. Uh, we have so many animals, especially the cows on the planet, that are releasing methane gas, which is 85 times more potent than carbon dioxide in warming the planet. So it's basically something which we are doing, which is driving us, to this point of extinction,
Hmm.
which is becoming the major cause, and also the impact it has on the natural resources, the water bodies, the soil, the forest that is disappearing so quickly. It's all because of animal agriculture. I mean, even if just we take the example of India, we have the world's largest cattle population, that is uh, 500 million plus, and we are, covering just 2.4% of the landmass. And imagine the impact we're having with such a huge population, because animals are really guzzlers of natural resources. If you take the example of a chicken, we are like feeding them almost 9 times than what a human would eat. And that's how, we are overusing resources to eat through animals. So what I mean to say is, if we are feeding 9 calories to, to a chicken, we are getting just 1 calorie from the flesh of chicken. That's how inefficient this food system is. So
Mhm.
beyond ethics and health reasons, it's very important to understand the study of the impact of animal agriculture on the climate crisis. Uh, Consider the water problem. Everywhere we are facing water crisis in cities. And if you look at just what the government website tells us, a very conservative estimate is we are using 1,000 liters of water for just 1 liter of
Hello.
milk.
Yeah, we are back.
Can you believe that? So, what do you think? Isn't it important to make the switch? Yeah. So I can just go on about the environmental problems, but that's why our organization is also working with farmers to help them transition to natural plant-based farming practices, so that we're using the most sustainable practice to grow our food, and which can actually feed even the growing population. Because when we say sustainable, that means we are also advocating the whole foods, not the processed foods. Yeah, the super processed food especially. So that's when we really cut down on, growing too much of crops for processing them into, these breads and so many other things. I mean, wheat is one example I'm giving you, but soy also is fed to animals in comparison to what is usually consumed by humans. Around more than 80% in India is fed to animals. So
Mhm.
yes, this is what I wanted to really convey.
That was actually going to be my next question.
Yeah.
And we at Drink Positive also have a very amazing illustrated book on the uh, global warming and
Yes.
every impact that uh, dairy farming and animal farming has on our planet. So if you guys would like,
Yeah.
do check out our illustrated book on our website. And before we move on to the next question, Sana, you had a few tips and tricks
So yeah,
for the
whoever wants to make this switch, I would like to give tips that first of all, go slow. Uh, it You might not be able to make this switch overnight. It's all right. It's totally all right. Be kind to yourself first. Then you will be able to be more like kinder to animals, and don't and if you like if you're trying to make switch and you're like constantly s- I would suggest that try to replace one meal at a time, and um, maybe plan like I went without the plan, but I realized some of people need plans. So like you can
Yeah.
write research about it. There are so many resources. Drink Positive also is one of the um, resource that you can check out. Their YouTube channel has a lot of recipes. Instagram has a lot of recipes, and join communities. You can join Drink Positive community. There are a lot of communities on internet now. You might find out in your cities, and start with simple recipes. Don't jump to making like exact copy of existing recipe. Like I think I tried gulab jam, not the recipe that I have shared, but the very difficult one I had tried, and it failed. And it for some time I was not able to get myself into cooking back. So these kind of things can create some kind of fear. So I would say start with extremely easy recipes. Ask the experienced vegans or people that have quitted things, and your own mom must be knowing a lot of vegan recipes. Aloo ki sabzi, roti. You can start with there. So yeah, start simple and slow and one step at a time, I would say.
That was very helpful, Sana.
Yeah, and Sana, you were very right in saying go back to Indian traditional recipes because I remember my
Mhm.
mother used to make rice kheer using coconut milk or even
Mhm.
that rice milk actually so it was really amazing to discover. I mean, so in so many places she would use coconut milk instead of dairy milk. So it was not
Yeah.
new. She said, yeah, we have done this you know
Yeah, yeah,
so it's really fun, and we do. I mean, our foundation is, of the recipes is in using all the local and plant-based options. So,
yeah. Very true.
yeah, I mean, coconut milk is something which is really common, and then these millet milks also, are very known. It depends on the region, but we
Yeah,
already
true.
have all this. It's just a matter of exploring it, basically,
Yeah,
and connecting with
and
the community is just fun.
mhm.
Yeah,
And I did
I
not
just want to
know
say
this.
that
Like
connect with the.
the shir kurma. I'm so sorry. Like
Hmm.
network is lagging. What were you saying, Madhvi?
Hmm. No, no, I'm not much really. I was just completing my sentence, I think. Yeah.
Okay, I think I missed your line. So I was
Hmm.
just saying that the kheer that we make for Eid, the not the regular kheer. There is good ki kheer, which has like rice milk and I think sesame milk and coconut milk. I did not know this. My nanny, when I said I'm quitting dairy, so my nanny's like, okay, maybe we can go for good ki kheer for you. And I'm like, I was surprised. I did not know. And then I realized my nanny is like more. She was very like it was easy. She's like, okay, ये निकाल देंगे, ये डाल देंगे, ये कर देंगे. I was so surprised. She knows more like than me. Than and it was it was much easier for her to like tell me about the food. And
Hmm.
one thing that I used to google lot of recipes like alternative for this and that, and I used to follow all of these western like youtubers, and that's why also it became very difficult because they had very different ingredients, and they were not available
Right.
for me. So that's how that matlab, the one of the mistake was like I felt very hopeless. Okay, I can't make this, I can't do that now. But then when I realized the Indian recipes like Indian desserts, it became much easier. So yeah, definitely go for Indian traditional recipes and start local. Like it's much easier and more hopeful.
Hmm.
Also more sustainable. And it's very important that you talked about following Western content creators, because a lot of us think that veganism is a concept very much rooted in Western cultures, but no, it's very much our culture as well. So yes,
Definitely.
and like we discussed before, Indian cuisine is something which is uh, so easy on plant-based eaters, and it is so forgiving and it's so good. And while we are on the sustainable part, like I said, my next question was going to be that, uh, how is this related to climate crisis? And one of my friends, I was explaining it to her, and she said in a well-meaning way, and she was like, you might find this a little hard to hear. But how does it make a difference? How does just you going plant-based make any difference? There is somebody else, and climate crisis is coming for us either way. So how is it going to help? So do you guys have something to weigh in here?
Yeah. So it's true that people are really thinking about the climate crisis now and they really want to do something. And they're really struggling, I will say, in a way, because if you see, it's so warm now, we can't, it's very difficult to give up the use of air conditioning, especially when you're living in a city. It's so hot, especially now with temperatures hitting 50 and beyond in cities like Delhi. Even Pune was like 42 and 44, that warm it is getting now. And so that, these are the changes people are looking at commonly, where they get to know from social media or giving up, cutting down on waste and also going for public transport. But if you see the way things are organized, by the system, by the government, we are not able to live through the hot period without air conditioning. Most of us who have the ability to have them, and most of us nowadays do have them. Public is almost not available for us the way it, again, it is organized and things like this. And if you see of all the human activities, what the studies have shown so far is that the way we produce our food is really the major driver of climate change. So if we make this shift, to a plant-based diet, which can happen from our next meal or from the next visit to the store when we are buying our food items, that's how quickly we can make this shift and also make the most significant impact, because the food system is having the most impact on the planet. So when it comes to release of greenhouse gases, or creating dead zones or generating waste, all these environmental problems are caused by the food system, so which is the main culprit. So if we are able to deal with it from the comforts of our home, right from our next meal, just imagine what kind of an impact we'll have. And especially with the climate crisis growing, global warming growing, methane gas, which has a short life, if we are able to cut down those gas emissions, we're able to control the temperature. And the way it is rising now, we can actually stabilize or stay within. I don't know how the way the temperature rise is growing. I mean, it's very hard to say whether we'll be in the safe zone, but still, doing something is better than not doing anything at all. So changing a diet is the most effective step. Yeah.
I think, yeah, I used to get this a lot. Like when I was doing the research, while when I went dairy free, that time I realized it's good for health, like, it's good for like animals. And then there was third factor, like environment. And I was really surprised by knowing how high the carbon footprint and the water footprint is of meat, milk. I did not know about this, and it was quite surprising. And then when I used to tell people about this, of course, it's like, uh, what? How will it change the entire climate? Like, just you going vegan or you quitting dairy, how will it change the entire system? So it's very important. Of course, it's important to make that change in system, but we are a big part of system as well. So we have to make changes from all directions, not just. I know so first of all, it starts a conversation between people, at least. And um I think I see a lot of people making these switches now. And once we are aware, we can change this industries. We are like, now that we are demanding more sustainable things, there are a lot more options in um, um, shops now that you see. Before there were not that many options. So change is happening, and why is it happening? Because we are demanding. So the as we will keep demanding, the people, the industries will also stop, like eventually. I know the industry is really big, of course. It will take time, but I mean, government also have to take this seriously, but we have to make this change together. So that's why we are doing this activism. We are making this things more accessible. There are a lot of people, organization who are working towards it. But yeah, we that's the only option. We have to make. We have to change the system faster by making these personal choices as well. Then only the system will change. And I don't know. I feel I feel more empowered when I'm part of the change. I'm not just sitting and saying, "Let's change a system," and I'm not being part of the like the change. So, like, just sitting and talking, saying that we need to change system, we need to change these things, won't do anything. Once we change the small things, and we do believe, I do believe that if we have that power, if we have that, uh, we can make that change by just changing what is there in our plate. Then why not? Like, it's not that big, but it can really make impact. And small or big, impact is impact. So that's what I believe. So
Your sentence that I feel more empowered when I'm part of the change. I feel I am going to take that sentence with me today because that is so empowering to hear.
mhm. Yeah.
So, yeah, this has been a great conversation. And now let's move to the most exciting part of our life, the rapid fire. So,
Just
are you
before
guys
that, I
ready?
would like to do a small plug in here. So, as we
Sure.
were talking about Indian traditional recipes,
Mhm.
uh, I'm going to come up with recipes from different regions of India in veganized version on Drink Positive. So yeah,
That is so
that's the
nice.
exciting announcement. Yeah, I'm
And
really
I'm very
excited for
excited
it.
for it.
Yeah.
Yay, exclusive change. We
Yes.
all want it. Sorry, inclusive change. We all want it.
Yeah,
So, now moving to the rapid fire. Are you guys ready?
Yes.
sure.
Which was your favorite recipe to shoot?
Shrikhanda. For me, it was the Shrikhanda recipe.
Tofu tikka wrap all time.
Oh, yes. How can we forget that?
Really tasty.
True, true. And Srikhand really took me back to our roots and childhood. So, yeah, I think both recipes are going to have my heart always.
I remember
Next
we
question.
having it
Okay,
like,
okay, yeah.
yeah, the
I
BTS,
know.
like,
And we
yeah,
have such an amazing blooper of me just biting into it and you laughing because I
really
fit the
fun.
whole thing in my mouth.
Yeah, and it was so tasty. We just had it like this. So
And we finished the whole thing even before
mm,
the shoot came to an end.
mm. We had a lot of
So
food.
I feel that is truly a testament to how tasty it was. We didn't
My
leave
mouth
it
is
for the rest
watering.
of the crew.
So Madhvi is like, yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, I wanted a bite.
Oh, I'm
And
sorry.
we finished the whole thing.
Yeah.
Anyway,
But yeah,
so
just another excuse to meet someday once again and make that
Yes.
recipe. And this
Let's make
time
it
save
again.
you a bite.
Just a bite.
Yeah, a bite is all we can promise.
So
Next
what's the next
question.
question? Hmm.
Which is your favorite plant-based milk?
Oat. Oat milk.
Coconut.
Oat.
I think I'm the only one from Coconut Milk Club. You all are Oat Milk Club.
Actually, it's very hard to say that. I mean, I like coconut milk also, but for some reason, I like that flavor of oat milk. I like it. Yeah,
Exactly. It tastes
yeah,
amazing.
yeah.
Next, which is your favorite dish made with dairy alternatives?
Tofu butter masala.
Whoa.
Okay. Okay, it's rapid
Hmm.
fire. I think it's okay, matcha latte. It's my recent favorite. I love coconut milk matcha latte. It's really tasty.
Okay, now that's something for me to try. And for
Yeah,
all of
I'll
you
try.
as well.
Yes.
Any interesting hacks you want to share with us?
I recently tried dahi vada, and I mixed
Mhm.
soya curd with cashew curd and used it for the dahi vada. It tastes absolutely yum. So the taste and the texture, I mean, I wanted to play around with it to get that flavor, and it really worked. So yeah, it's worth
Okay.
trying.
Very interesting. I will try. Actually, my hack was the same. What I was gonna suggest is to mix different kind of milks to get that to match fattiness and the taste and texture. So that was the trick. Like I used to always use only one plant-based milk, but then on Drink Positive set, I got to know that you can actually mix match different milks to get different consistency, different kind of frothiness, or like things you can. There is a lot of things to explore, and okay, this is not very great tip to be honest, but I would say if you're using peanut curd, use it for like spicier things, like savory things. And when you're going for sweeter things, then you can use cashew curd, soya curd. These will um, give you much better taste. So.
Yeah, you have a point, huh? And actually, the beauty of plant-based meals, the variety is that you can use them according to the recipe. So I really get it
Exactly.
what you mean, Sana. For the savory ones, peanut curd
Hmm.
works, and all these things. Yeah, amazing. Yeah,
And just
always.
one thing. So
Yeah,
peanut curd really goes tastes really well with sabudana khichdi because sabudana khichdi
mm.
already has these peanuts, so that really enhances the entire experience. So.
Okay, are we back? Yes, we're back. So, for there is a thick cold coffee trend going on at the moment. So, if you want to make it plant-based, just add soy milk, and it is
Hmm.
going to taste amazing, I promise.
Yeah,
Okay.
and it
And
is
for our
again.
last, sorry,
Yeah, so again, if you, it's there in a recipe also. Soya milk and some cashew milk, amazing for cold coffee. Yeah,
Oh
yes,
wow.
that
yeah,
works as well.
yeah.
Absolutely hearting. And our last question for the rapid fire is, which recipe would you like next from Drink Positive?
Mm. Rosgulla.
Okay.
Okay, way to my heart.
Madhi, surprisingly, it is on my list. Like,
Really?
yeah.
Whoa.
Great.
So we'll see. I'm experimenting. Let's see how much of success it is. But let's see. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I would like a
Uh,
sponge cake.
okay. Okay.
Mm.
We can make that. Sponge cake. I think I have
Nice.
tried. I have tried. So it won't be a very like new crazy experiment. So I can do that.
So, pinky
Um.
promise?
Yes.
And next time, share with me, okay?
Yeah.
Sorry?
Share with me also, I said.
She's like share food with her.
Yes, we'll save your bite, Madhvi.
Definitely.
Yeah.
That's how
I would
generous
say
we are
I
with
would
plant-based
want
food.
what?
Sorry, you were saying something?
No, no, you complete your joke.
I said that's how generous we are with plant-based food.
And also, we are
All we
Gen
can
Z.
save is a bite.
Sorry,
But yeah,
Madhavi. You
guys,
have.
this has been so fun. And this was so great. Thank you, Madhavi and Sana, for being here.
Thank you so
And
much,
as for
Rina.
our audience, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Make sure you check out different playlists on the channel where you will see Madhavi, Sana, and I do our magic. And don't forget to take a look at the previous live events. You'll find reels and stories on our Instagram page too. And I'd also like to remind you that we've created an amazing website, drinkpositive.org, where you'll find a quiz, a free downloadable book, and a variety of resources to help you on your dairy free journey. All these links are in the description box below, and all our resources are very much children friendly. So, thank you so much for joining us on this live, you guys. Have a good night. Bye.
Have a
Bye.
good one. Bye, bye, bye. Thank you so much, Rinaz. Thank you so much, Madhavi.
And
Bye.
finally, don't forget to
Drink
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 positive.
positive.
positive. Now we can say bye.